what this process is kind of asking you, the art of plating, is kind of asking you to kind of work backwards. Usually you go down to the farmer's market and you kind of work with like the tomatoes, you work with like the zucchini and the vegetables, and then based on that you think of like, okay, then you go choose a plate. But this one, the challenge is that you're asked to like, kind of like change your head around and what dish is going to go with this plate. So you can't really work on the same flavors, like something like a lamb with like a shelling beans and like a brown sauce. That doesn't kind of work, because the colors on this plate, they just don't match it. That's why I had to come up with reds and blacks that kind of make that pop, that Spanish kind of a feel. So looking at this one, I really like the clean white background and I love the gold lining on the outside. So I thought, okay, I'm going to need to add color. So we're doing this beautiful dish, highlighting just beautiful California vegetables. It's crudité, it's classic, it's very popular here at Hotel Bel-Air. So I figured it really accented everything in the plate and it really had that real nice refined look with the gold. And with this one, the red and black, honestly this is probably my favorite of the two. I started off with this one, but then this one kind of just started growing on me with the different colors. And I thought the tomatoes and the black olive crisp really highlighted the plate designs on the outside. You're looking at textures. Like the eye has textures. And when you look at something, you see the different layers. You see the different vegetables, you see the different bases of the flavors, and people start looking at it and they start breaking a dish down, kind of like the way they look at a painting. They start with the red colors, they start with the dark colors, the light colors, the background, in the foreground, and then the characters. So it's really just like anything else. It's really just like putting a painting together. You're really just looking at the different layers of the dish. The balance of it is really, again, with the idea of you have to go with less is more. If you really go for too much on a plate, you're gonna fail every time. You really wanna stick to either a season and you wanna stick to 3 or 4 ingredients. And I think that's where you find the most success. Less is more, and I think you have better success. We in the kitchen, we pride ourselves on our ability to kind of just consistently plate something like this 20, 30 times a day. And it might be like 25 times, 26 times for a young cook or a chef like myself. But for each individual guest that really gets to see this canvas or this beautiful plate, it's their first time. So it's really just an exciting way to kind of like every single time we make this beautiful dish to really shoot for a consistent beauty that goes on the plate, which is something remarkably different than what an artist has to do. An artist has has kind of like the good fortune of they put something on one canvas at one time and that's it for all time. We actually get to do this many, many times and you get to appreciate it many, many times. So, it's one of those things that people say, you don't trust a skinny chef. And it's the exact idea. The chefs that are skinny, it's probably because they work out intensely. Like they're probably doing P90X all day long. But I do my best to kind of just like lay off the pounds, but I do my best again. But you have to eat. You have to eat as much as you can because it develops like these levels of just like this library inside your mind. It's like a mind palace of just flavors, okay, textures, seasons. Okay, this tasted like this when I had it at this restaurant. Okay, what if I did a different take on that? So it's really about when you see a tomato, okay, everybody sees a tomato with salt. Okay, what if I season the tomato with green peppercorns? Okay, how would that elevate it? Okay, so now you think about green peppercorns and the last time you tasted green peppercorns. And then you think of that combination with tomatoes and you think about it with olive oil. And then you really just begin to cook with your mind and then you kind of start developing it and then you start putting it into practice. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But like anything else, if you don't try, you'll never know if it fails. For me, I did a lot of cooking at home with my mom and my dad, and they probably really inspired me in the way I kind of plate my food at home, which is a really simple way of really not kind of, I think what people at home should stay away from is the kind of idea of kind of like a lunch tray, where you kind of try and divide everything up, where you put a protein, you put a sauce, you put a vegetable. So you gotta stay away from that. If it's a round plate, then highlight the roundness of the plate, and you put your starch, you put your vegetables, and you put your protein on top, and you have a nice garnish, whether it's fresh herbs from the garden or a nice little sauce from home, a little finish of olive oil. Just think of it as layers, like you're just building just like layers and textures.